You ready?
Yep, I'm as ready as can be.
So, what do you want people to get out of your film?
I think a few ideas can be taken away. First of all, the idea of the disabled community and the fact that we're not alone and we're here to support each other and we're here in numbers, strength in numbers, as well as just overall acceptance. We face challenges like every other community, and we want to be recognized and we want to be accepted. So as you can see, a lot of my body is affected by my condition. I walk with a cane, and both my legs are relatively affected, as well as my right arm. It makes it difficult for me to do simple tasks like climbing stairs, as you can see, and also just movement in general. Balance is difficult, and in short, it pretty much sucks.
So I do like use a cane and walk around at home, but outside of the house I primarily use my wheelchair.
Right. And are people usually accepting of this? Have you ever faced any opposition of anyone?
I've been very fortunate in my life to not really have any sort of opposition in that way. My family, they kind of, I guess for lack of a better reason, is they didn't really treat anything differently. I didn't really have like a lot of changes to my home living. My brother and sister, I'm the youngest of three. They treated me like a younger sibling and annoying younger sibling my entire life. I had a good group of friends and there's a really good community around me that kind of fully supported and embraced everything about me. So.
It's hard to understand it sometimes. And then independent hard, but I have to depend on it a lot. It's kind of affects my life, and that's kind of frustrating sometimes.
Okay, no games. Hang on. Welsh or what? Tell me about the shirt.
Okay. What is the name of your condition and how does it affect you?
I have ornithine transcarbamylase deficiency, which damaged parts of my brain which control movements. I can't speak or chew food, and I have difficulty with lots of actions.
Add on to that, could you give examples on how it affects your day-to-day life?
I use this talker to communicate. I can talk, text, and email with it. I mostly eat smoothies and need lots of help to do regular, everyday activities.
Tiffany, arm my hands into shot.
A little higher, but yeah. Yeah.
Take
Is that...
action.
Is
No,
the
no, no.
microphone-
I like to tell people that I'm a normal teenager. I do normal things. I mean, I go out with friends. I go do social activities, and I have moments where I just act relatively normal. But there are times where sometimes people aren't as accepting as to my differences. So I see you work at Riekes. Can you tell me a bit about what you do here?
Yeah, so I started working at the Riekes Center in 2016, and I first came on as the manager of the adaptive and the veterans programs. So as part of the Riekes Center, we have our fitness, athletic fitness, nature awareness, creative arts, and community service programs. Under the athletic fitness department, we have an adaptive sports program, and that can be anything from someone training for the Paralympics and someone just kind of learning what adaptive sports are and how to get involved.
Has it impacted your social life negatively? And if so, how could you give a specific example?
Yes, it sucks. People think that if you can't speak, you can't think, so I don't get included in things. Also, it is really slow, so it is hard to be in a conversation. Most people aren't patient enough to talk with me.
It depends on who did it. But, at some people that don't want to touch it as much, that has been disability. Yeah, I have affected my social life throughout my life.
Most people just ignore me. Some people stare because I look weird when I move. But the people who know me think that I am awesome. I do great with the right supports. It takes me a long time to do the work, but I got straight A's this year. I do lots of therapies, PT, OT, speech and feeding. I also do sports like swimming, surfing, and skiing to get strength and balance.
I do therapy right now. A lot of physical therapy, mental therapy, all that stuff.
I have depression. It is not easy having disabilities. I like talking with other disabled people and learning about disability rights. It is good to know that there are other people who know how you feel.
And, because I was born 3 months early, I do have this condition that impacts my physical movement on my legs and my right arm. It is unfortunate, but, I've learned to persevere. It's just that while I try to explain to people in the most diplomatic way and professional way that, hey, I can't do a lot of the things you guys do, they kind of don't respect that, and they sometimes treat me lesser, almost alienation.
I think for me, I think my perspective was that I was so fortunate that I got transient myelitis, my paralysis, when I was younger, right? Because there's no sense of loss, of like you had something and it's gone. It's just that's just how I grew up, and it was my normal, and I just was able to accommodate and adapt as best as possible. And I think that kind of mentality, just like that, being able to adapt and to take things in stride, regardless of who you are. I guess again, this is with a disability or not, it doesn't really matter. But I think kind of having that kind of mentality can help really build some resilience and be able to kind of let you focus on the good things that you have going on in your life and what you want to do and how to get there, as opposed to what you don't have and what you can't do. And I think that kind of approach is, I think, what's helped me kind of be a positive individual. But again, it's different for each person.
And finally, is there anything you would like to say to the general public in order to educate them about your point of view?
People need to treat us like whole people, not like pieces. I have disabilities, but I am just as loving, sarcastic, joyful, and thoughtless as other 15-year-olds. Your preconceived ideas about disability are a bigger problem for me than my motor issues.
Can I just say on the record I did not
You need to
consent
put
to
that
this?
video.
I moved countries, and growing up in two completely different areas, it was hard to completely, restart and tell my story 2 times in a row. But what I've learned is instead of holding anger and harnessing negative emotions toward people, I tend to mostly enjoy just trying to connect with them, whether that be through humor. Are people usually accepting of you, like in school, in other settings? I think some of my aspirations for the future is I do have an interest in neuroscience, and I have been taking a few classes on that front, but I've also liked to explore my creative side, both through this documentary that I'm currently filming, and stand-up comedy, or in my case, sit-down comedy. I know people are laughing in the background, but it's true, it's a genuine outlet. It's something I genuinely enjoy watching, and hopefully one day I get to perform in front of a crowd of people and I can just make people laugh, because that's kind of what I'm all about, telling my story in a positive light and making people happy.
Closing thoughts in general?
Yeah, in general.
I would say that if you have an interest in learning about other people or how they interact, and being in a space where you feel welcome and appreciated for who you are, finding a really good community like we have here at the center is always a great way to kind of help that.
A. P. Appreciate. T. S. P. Speak. Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to speak.
Again, what advice would you give to someone struggling with a similar or even somewhat different condition to motivate them and keep them going?
UNICEF.